I'm Kevin Crawford from Kevin Crawford Consulting, and welcome to the Executive Mirror. Hello, I'm Kevin Crawford, and welcome to the Executive Mirror. I'm here again with Dr. Relly Nadler, a good friend, and we're going to have a conversation about something that's extremely important, and that is this idea of work-life balance.
Yeah. I don't think it gets talked about enough with executives, but I like the idea of this corporate athlete. The people you deal with and I deal with, they're a corporate athlete and they're always on. And what do we know about athletes? They spend a lot of time in preparation. They spend a lot of time on their body, on their mindset, and they're only performing a little bit, 2-3 hours. What you do, what do the people I coach do, they're performing all day long. And they don't necessarily honor their body and mind as they could.
Corporate athlete. I don't think there could be a more apropos description of today's executive.
Right.
And 20 years ago, that notion and the idea of bringing some kind of balance to your life was really scoffed at, wasn't it?
It was. And I think it's grown. There is a famous Harvard Business Review article called The Corporate Athlete, so it's not my term. It's one of the few, and it probably goes back quite a ways, where they talk about meditation was part of it, or they talk about how, where are you in regards to taking breaks, where are you in regards to managing energy. I guess that's the piece. When you think about a corporate athlete, it's not only managing time, it's managing energy. And so we can talk about that. What are some of the things maybe you've helped some of your corporate athletes to manage energy, and then I can share some of the things I've shared.
Well, it's really all about peak performance, right?
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
And yet we haven't given ourselves the space to be peak performers. I remember myself when I was a city manager, coming back from lunch, and I'd just be dragging.
Right.
And I'd sit at the desk and I'd try and get some work done, and I knew I was completely unproductive. But this is the time I'm supposed to be working. Yeah. So I just slug it out and slug it out and slug it out. And the product was just not good. And then it dawned on me, if I get, like I would if I was home, 20 minutes to close my eye, I close my eyes. I would wake up. I'd be energized. I'd be clear-minded, clear thought. I could get a whole lot more done. Yeah. My productivity would go through the roof. And so one time I asked my assistant to just shut the door. I'm going to lie down here for just 20 minutes and catch, a few Z's. And I woke up, and sure enough, I could just get through so much more. So that 20 minutes that I wasn't working gained me however much measure of utility at the back end. And I learned right there that the idea about being an executive athlete, if you will, was so important. And you've taken advantage of meditation quite a bit.
True. So let me just first ask you, did that turn into a habit for you?
Turn into a habit.
So you would do it basically after lunch?
I'd work my schedule around it.
That is so good. So what's great about that, and I'll tell you about the meditation piece. First, it's really easy. The mindfulness and meditation, there's apps that I share with the executives I work with, Take a Break, Headspace. You're really just listening to something. Your brain needs this unstructured time. So this kind of default mode network we've talked about, when the brain just wanders, it's like a battery charge. So for me, I've been doing it, since I left college and learned how to do it. And because it's been so helpful, I'll do it every day, probably at least twice a day, anywhere from 15 minutes, 10 minutes. But what I love about this, kind of like you're saying, your 20 minutes, if you don't have an electric car, you would be putting gas in your car, and you don't have time. So let me get $15. This will get me to my next destination. Well, in that metaphor, maybe for me, it's 5 or 10 minutes of doing this meditation. It'll get me through the next 3 or 4 hours where I can feel sharper. My brain is clear. And you know how the brain can be mushy. And I'm sure you felt that way after lunch. At the end of the day, and what happens for me is like, oh, I should do this meditation. It's a simple thing to do. It's 3 on my list. It becomes number 1 on my list because I know I will always feel better. Even my wife, if I'm irritated, I'm short, she's like, maybe you should go meditate. Because she knows I'm going to come out better.
Certainly. Well, that's interesting. So I think in every case I was actually taking a nap, a 20-minute nap.
Yeah.
But perhaps, if I understand correctly, maybe I really wasn't sleeping.
Yeah.
Maybe I was just quieting my brain down.
Yes. And so if you're lying down, you may have more of a tendency to fall asleep. But right now, if you look at brain waves, we're in the beta waves, and it's moving fast. Sleep is delta waves, and so the brain waves are moving slower. But there's the 2 brain waves in between, alpha and theta, most of us heard about. Alpha, sometimes you're kind of vegging out when you're watching TV. Theta is this deeper, slower brain waves that's really recharging. And so like your 20 minutes, or for me, maybe it's 10 or 15 minutes, it's like I'll go through the stages. I think I'm in theta. Difference is alpha, you're aware of your surroundings. Theta, it could feel like sleep, and that's why some people think, oh, it didn't work. It's a deep relaxation, and then it's almost like going deep in the sea and you bob back up. And so sometimes I'll say, I don't know if that was 5 minutes or 15 minutes, but I feel better. So my body said, oh, this is enough. And that probably was theta if I'm not aware of what's going around.
Interesting. So are you meditating right now? Or is this the real Dr. Nadler?
This is the real Relly. But here's what's good about it, because I've done it so many times before presentations. I don't need 10 or 15 minutes. If I can just close my eyes, and maybe it's only 2-3 minutes, because now it's such a habitual response. That's what I was asking you about that for you. And so how do we translate this for the people that we work with? One, I mentioned there's a couple apps. And this life balance, they go home from work. Everybody wants something from the executive at work. Let's say they go home, maybe they're in a house, or maybe they drive home, and now they come out from the work day, everybody wants a piece of them. Their kids, their significant others, spouse, partners. Could they have a ritual that before they go home, and if they drive, and I've done this numerous times when I'd be up and down the coast, California's beautiful. It's got all these beaches. Before I go home, I'd pull off to some beach, park for 15 minutes, do this meditation, feel the recharge, and now the day is behind me and I can get ready for whatever I need at home. 15 minutes. It's so effective. Some people do it in their driveway before they get home, and you got to educate people in the family about it.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting, and certainly a valuable tool for executives.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm hearing in great frequency nowadays with executives is they just don't have enough time to do all the things they need to do.
Right.
And as you very well know, and as you believe, I think intentionality is extremely important. I think a lot of the things that we do, we kind of do autopilot, as you would say. Right. But we're just going through the motions. We're just reacting or responding to what comes our way. But we're not bringing a lot of intentionality to the way that we size things up or the decisions that we make. I think the same can be said when it comes to this notion of work-life balance. Mm-hmm. Work-life balance is now much more acceptable than it was a number of years ago. Right. And so we'll have a lot of conversations with executives about, okay, your day is this pie, and you get to carve it up any way that you want. But before you get caught up in it and the day takes you for a ride, you ride that. Yep. As you know, I ride horses. It's a bad day when the horse is riding you. You're supposed to be riding the horse. And so if you can cut that up, okay, X percentage is work, X percentage is, self-care, whatever that looks like. Yep. X percentage is family, whatever it happens to be. Yeah. But do yourself the favor and pie graph that out, okay? Now, if you fudge a little here, a little there, it's not the end of the world. Don't be real hard on yourself, but give yourself the advantage of saying, this is the way I'm going to manage my day or my week or my life.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you're not giving attention to some of those other areas that you do prioritize, you do say are significant, then it will eventually come back and bite you in the place that you want it to bite you the least. Marriage, family, your job.
Right. Add to the list your back. How many people have not taken time, thrown out their back, and now they're home for a week, because they got a bad back?
Or any other health issue for that matter. Right?
So I think having these rituals are really important. And you said it well, whether it's after lunch, during the day, I always talk to them. Let's talk about what's lunch like for you. And many people, they go grab something and they're right back in front of their computer. And if we talk about peak performance, it's really about being effective. And so we confuse activity with accomplishment. Oh, I'm really active. What you accomplish? And if you don't give time to yourself to be at your peak, so here's a simple one. Before a meeting, could you take 3 or 4 minutes? You just breathe in, slowly through your nose and out through your mouth. But what if you added a couple words? So we all know about AI prompts. What if you said, okay, what do I want to breathe in? What do I want to breathe out? I'm going to go to this meeting. It's going to be an intense meeting. I want to breathe in calmness. I want to breathe out connection. It's your AI prompt. And that's that intentionality. And you could do that in seconds. And it really is programming you to be your best in that situation. So whatever you think will help to breathe in and breathe out and tailor that for the situation.
And I suppose if you spend some time with self-awareness and kind of exploring your own mind, you can tailor it.
Yeah.
This is where my triggers typically are.
Right.
These are the places that I need the most help.
Yep.
And so I'm going to breathe that out.
Yeah.
And I'm going to breathe in the contrary.
Yeah.
If I have it right.
Yeah. You can breathe in. Yeah. You breathe in anything you want. And a lot of times they breathe out tension, relaxation. It's nice to breathe. I like to do 2 positives. So let's use an example. You're in this meeting. You got someone in the meeting who always is the smartest person in the room. And I'm going to say something. I've
met that person.
And we all have. And I know I'm going to say something and they're going to comment. And so I breathe in, focus. I breathe out calmness, and I can picture them doing that. And just like an athlete using the visualization, I'm not going to be rustled by that. And it may be in a calm way. So-and-so, I see it a little different. Let me tell you about that. But I'm doing it in a calm way. I'm not, getting upset and tapping my foot and all that. So we can help ourselves with that pre-visualization. How can I be the best in what could be a triggering situation?
We've talked about this before, but I've said oftentimes one of the ways that I implement or have used to not get myself emotionally hijacked with a conversation is to just imagine in my own mind I'm closing the door on all the emotions.
I love that, yeah.
And I think it might be very similar to what you're just saying here.
Yeah.
But in my mind, if I'm going into one of those intense meetings, I learned, and I do not know how I learned it, but the recognition that I didn't need any emotions to come to bear on what we were dealing. Mm-hmm. I needed to be as clear-headed and as objective as possible, because I knew the emotions were going to hijack me to take me to places that weren't good, and emotions were going to allow me to be sucked in by that difficult personality that might be in the room.
Yeah.
But I needed to bring as much objectivity to the discussion as possible.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I would shut that door. And all we're really talking about is managing the mind, aren't we?
Exactly. And if you said it earlier, if we're not managing the mind, it's managing us. So this default mode network, if we talk about the brain neuroscience, one, it wanders. Most of the time, it's going to wander into anxiety. What do I need to do here? Why is that happening? What's going on? How am I going to deal with that? if you have some of this time, it could also wander into imagination. Sometimes they call it the imagination network. So closing your eyes to breathe in, you're kind of tapping that. How do I want to be? And this is why I love now, we were all familiar with AI prompt. We need to use that in our self-talk. What do I need to do to be my best in this meeting now? Something's going to show up on your screen, but you gave it the appropriate prompt. Many times, we give it the wrong prompt. Why can't I get this together? Your brain's like, I don't know. Let me search our files. Oh, here's why you can't get it together. You weren't good in math, and so-and-so called you this. It's all the wrong prompt.
Right. Amazing. Well, intentionality for me is, and an understanding of how you can manage your mind is critical to being that top flight executive athlete and bringing balance into your life.
Yes.
So, well, we cannot thank you enough for your insight. It's always wonderful.
Well, thank you for this conversation. Appreciate it.
You bet. For more information, contact Kevin, CrawfordConsulting.com.